Y'all, it's officially September 1st, which means we're here to rank my top fall inspired palettes. I think this is like my 4th year in a row doing this. I started off with 10, and then I went to 30, then I went to 40, and now we are sitting at 35 palettes because some of the palettes got the boot. So you guys want to see what palettes remind me of fall? Well, then definitely keep on watching. Now, before we dive into today's video, in case you guys are asking me what I'm wearing in my eyes, I did not rank this in today's video because I just didn't include it for it, but I am wearing the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. I heard a little rumor that Tati Beauty might be on the comeback, and because of that, I wanted to use this palette in honor of that. So yeah, that is what I'm wearing in my eyes today. Unfortunately, you guys cannot get your hands on this anymore, but if you guys want to know, that's what I'm wearing. It's really beautiful. I forgot how stunning this palette is. Did I rank this in my fall ranking? No, because it does not remind me of fall, but maybe her next one will. I have been doing my fall ranking, like I said, I think for the last 4 years. I absolutely love doing this series. I think it's so much fun, and every single year you guys do see a mix of the same palettes, but you guys also see palettes rotate in, rotate out, go to the very top spot, drop from the very top spot. It just kind of really depends on what I'm looking for this year. I have less palettes this year than I did last year because I actually did declutter quite a few of the palettes that I had ranked last year that I no longer have in my collection this year. So the criteria for this year when it comes to ranking my fall palettes is I just generally want to say these are the palettes that I pull out during the fall season to create really beautiful fall aesthetic eyeshadow palettes, or when I look at them, I think of fall. So we're going to go ahead and start off with number 35. Number 35 is actually from ColourPop. This is the Honey palette. Now this palette has dropped tremendously. I mean, this used to be up in my top 10s, top 20s, and now it's at the very bottom. And the reason why it's at the very bottom is because truly there really isn't anything fall aspect to it other than it just being a honey yellow eyeshadow palette. But the reason why I'm going to include in today's video is because of the fact that this palette is still a palette that I will gravitate to during fall. If I'm looking for a beautiful bright sunflower yellow or yellow shimmer or yellow glitter, you know, I will still gravitate to this palette. It's still gonna have some shades in here. Like these two shades right here are definitely ones I'm gonna gravitate to a lot during the fall season, especially because like a lot of my fall palettes don't really tend to have yellows, greens, oranges, purples all kind of mixed in one. I do kind of have to kind of search through different palettes to create the ultimate. But for me, I just see this and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of fall, or at least I'm thinking of September. Like this could be like a September palette, like September 1st style palette with the yellows that I would still incorporate during the fall season. I think of bees, I think of sunflowers, and to me, that reminds me of fall. And a lot of people think of bees as spring because they're pollinating flowers, but for me, bees and sunflowers just remind me of fall. So that is why at number 35, we do have the ColourPop Honey palette. Coming at number 34, we do have the Urban Decay Honey palette. Now, I love this palette. Now, again, we're still correlating with the honey, with the bees, and so we have to incorporate the honey palette right here. This is probably one of my favorite palettes that Urban Decay has ever rolled out with. I love this palette. Now, for me, when I see this, again, I see September. I see at least the end of August, early September, when stores are really starting to make the transition from summer to fall. Now for me, my fall goes up August 1st, but I like to do my fall ranking on September 1st when it truly is the embodiment of fall, when at that point, all the places are releasing their pumpkin spice lattes. Everything is pumpkin spice. That's when I know fall is officially here. So when I look at this, I look at the end of summer, early fall. You're going to have those beautiful golden yellows. You're going to have those browns, a little bit of like dirty mustards, and some beautiful white transition shades. That's what I look for in fall. I can definitely use this to create a beautiful fall-esque, like a very beautiful like end of August, early September fall, like honey bee inspired palette and bee inspired eye look, and I can use that with this. So for me, this will always be like in a fall ranking just because you are going to have those end of summer, early transition into fall shades, and that's exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to a fall collection, a fall palette. So coming in number 34, we do the Urban Decay Honey palette. Coming in at number 33, we do have the Sunset Dreams from Alter Ego. First off, look at this outside packaging. This outside packaging screams fall. Does it not? Like, I see fall when I see the outside packaging. But you open the color store on the inside and not so much, but it could definitely be used for the fall season. You are going to have this beautiful dual chrome shade in here that's going to go a mix between like orange and green, which I really do love. You're going to have those beautiful browns, but other than that, there really isn't too much in here that represents fall in my opinion. The reason why it's going to be ranked in here is because there are some shades in here that do have some fall-esque vibes of like bonfire, rustic, Sierra, wood, cinnamon, toast, cozy, soft, twinkle, bliss, and then you're going to have the fall vibe. So that is why it's still going to be ranked in my fall ranking today, because of the fact there are some fall elements that can kind of go, all right, I can kind of see myself picking this up during the fall season. So coming number 33, we do have the Ultra Ego Sunset Dream palette. Coming in at number 32, we do have the Fantasy Cosmetica. This is going to be the Enchanted Autumn palette. This is in collaboration with Makeup Just for Fun. Now, first off, we have the outside packaging. It's very cute. It's a very, very cute outside packaging. You're going to open it up and then you're going to have this color story on the inside. Now, for me, I think this is a really pretty cool tone color story, but I don't see fall with this color story. I just don't see it. Personally, for me, I think it's a very cool tone palette, which is perfect for Amanda. I know how much she loves this color scheme, but the reason why we're still going to rank it today is because it's, one, the palette's called Autumn. Two, you still have some autumn like references in here. Like you have Scorpio, Dusk, Sagittarius, you have Emerald, Willow Oak, Harvest Moon, Luna, Libre, Foggy. So you do have some fall elements with the shade names, with the concept of the palette. So that's why with the concept of the palette, it may be like one or two shades that could be potentially used during the fall season. But I know that for me, this can be a great fall palette for some people out there. But for me, what I look for is I look for oranges and reds and yellows, a little maybe like periwinkle blue, of like blues, greens, maroons. Like those are colors I'm kind of looking for when it comes to fall, which I don't truly see in this, but I do think that there's some fall elements to that. So that is why at number 32, we do have the Fantasy Cosmetica Enchanted Autumn palette. So coming at number 31, we do have the Glamour Natrix. This is the Barely Basic palette, which, by the way, I just found out Glamour Natrix is still shipping to the US, which I'm kind of surprised because I know they suspended a lot of shipping to the US because the D minimums got removed. But they did say in their post that you are responsible for paying the taxes, the duties, and the fees that are put on to your palette. They are not, so that's kind of up to you whether or not you still want to order from their brand. I love the brand so much, so it's just so sad to see this happening. Hopefully they can get this all sorted out. But anyway, the reason I'm putting this on here is because I love this color scheme. Now this color scheme definitely has the key elements I'm looking for. You're going to have a little bit of the oranges, a little bit of purples, a little bit of greens. It is missing some of the yellows and browns in my opinion, but you do still have some key elements in here when it comes to fall. You're going to have a little bit of the oranges, the greens, and the purples. Now is it missing a lot of other elements? Of course. Does it have one shade in here called Pumpkin Spice? Yes. So for me, I can see myself picking this up during the fall season. I probably mostly stick to like this section right here to create a really beautiful, like cool tone fall look. But I absolutely do love this palette. I think it's a lot of fun, and I did get it during the fall season last year. So that is why at number 31, we do have the Glamour Natrix Barely Basic palette. Coming in at number 30, we do have my first ever Melt Cosmetics. This is the Gemini palette. Fun fact, this palette right here is the reason why I picked back up my camera and started filming on YouTube. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but when me and Corey split for a good 8 months, I quit YouTube. Like I flat out quit YouTube, and then we ended up getting back together. Even though we got back together, I still just was like, I don't know if I want to pick this back up. And he encouraged me. And then one day I saw Robbie D. Christie playing with this palette, and I said, I want to get it. I bought it. I recreated her look, and I fell in love with it. And I said, I'm going back to YouTube. And it was probably one of the best decisions I ever did. So I will always have a soft spot in my heart for this palette right here. So this right here is the Gemini palette. Now, what I love about this is this can be pretty grungy. This can be pretty grungy, earthy tone palette. You're going to have those beautiful colors I'm looking for right here from black onwards to this way. I definitely associate with fall. I have picked this up during the fall season to create really beautiful, like grungy fall-esque looks, but I also love there's some elements of green. So I kind of also see this palette as like a transition palette between summer to fall. Like you have the beautiful bright summer shades, and then you transition into the fall shades, which I really do love, especially for those of you amazing folks who get to live in area where you guys get to have seasons. Yeah, we don't have that here in Florida, but I know y'all get to. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You guys will see your green trees slowly transitioning to fall trees. I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I don't have that, but that's kind of how I picture this to be. So while this isn't truly meant to be a fall palette, there's definitely some fall elements to this that I really do love and appreciate. So coming in number 30, we do have the Gemini palette from Melt Cosmetics. Coming into number 29, we do have the Art of Two Cosmetics. This is the Obsession palette right here. Now, first off, you're going to have the fall leaves. You're going to have the beautiful fall leaves. You pull out the Unicart, and you're going to have this gorgeous palette right here. So this right here was definitely meant to be a fall palette from Art of Two Cosmetics. They have the fall leaves right here, and then you open it up, and you're going to have a cool tone fall inspired palette. You're going to have the oranges, the blues, the greens, the purples, and a little bit of the browns right here. Now, a lot of these colors are here. Now, a lot of these colors right here, when I see them, do I get truly inspired by fall? No, but I can use some colors in here to create a beautiful fall look. I also love the fact that there's some fall elements in terms of the shade names. You're gonna have fall, maple, season, transition, daylight, new beginnings, life, leaves, renew, like definitely what crisp, like definitely what fall is all about, transitioning from the old into the new, starting over. And I really love that element about this. Now this is supposed to be geared towards a cool tone fall palette. She wanted something just a little bit different. I didn't want to use the same traditional shades that I usually would go for, but she put a little twist on it, which I really did appreciate. So for me, there's some fall elements with the leaves, the shade names, a little bit of the color story, and the packaging itself. So that is why at number 29, we do have the Ascension palette from Artitude Cosmetics. Coming in at number 28. Now this one, people might disagree because this truly is an actual like fall autumn palette. But for me, it's the color story that throws me off more than anything else. So coming at number 28, we do have the Nomad Cosmetics. This is going to be their Fuji Lakes autumn palette. Now this right here is based off Japan. There is a place in Japan called the Fuji 5 Lakes that they base this palette off of. So you're going to have the beautiful fall leaves that you're going to see around, I guess, this image. You're going to have the lake and the mountains and all the beautiful scenery that Japan has to offer. So when you open the color story, they meant for this to be like a true representation of the area. So you're going to have reds, blues, and yellows, which I guess you can use some of these shades for fall, but for me, when I look at it, I see more of a winter fall than anything else. I see this as like a late November, early transition into like a Christmas palette. That's a late November transitioning into like a winter palette. Like I get more of that from this palette than I do anything else, because you have like those beautiful blues in here that I definitely associate with winter, maybe some reds with winter, and yellows definitely could be the fall aspect. So for me, when I see this as like a late November. I've never been to Fuji 5 Lakes. I would love to see it, and I'm sure it's absolutely gorgeous. So I understand why Nomad did what they did, because they wanted to represent the true colors of that area and of that season. For me, when I think of fall, I don't necessarily think of this. I don't really gravitate towards this a lot. I do put this in my ranking because this legit is their fall palette, but I just feel like for me, when I think of fall, I think of, like I said, what you guys see right behind me. So that is why at number 28, we do have the Nomad Cosmetics Fuji 5 Lakes palette. Coming at number 27, we have we have the Twilight New Moon palette. Now this is a brand new palette featured to the ranking this year, and there's a reason for it. When I think of fall, there is a huge part of me that does think of like new moon, right? Or like twilight. Like twilight could definitely be incorporated into fall in any way, shape, or form, depending on how you look at it. But the new moon aesthetics, from the movie to the books to the packaging on this, definitely give off true fall vibes, right? So you're going to have this right here, this beautiful forest. You're going to open this up. You have the gorgeous moon that I always associate with fall. But for me, it's the color story. I definitely can feel like this palette can be utilized a lot during the fall season. There are also some elements of like Halloween in here that I also can see with like the blacks, the oranges, and the red. But I could truly see fall colors when I look at this palette. You're going to have those beautiful golden mustard yellows, those beautiful oranges, a little bit of the maroon reds, the blacks, and the brown that you can definitely use all fall season long. So for me, I thought this was a really well done palette in terms of, you know, a new moon collection. But I saw this the first time, and I even said to you guys in my video that this would make a perfect fall palette. I literally said to you guys in my review, this would be a beautiful fall palette, and I still stand by it. I think it's gorgeous. I think they did such a great job with this. And I even think that when he left her during fall, which is so shitty, but he left her during the fall season. So that is why at number 27, we do have the New Moon palette from ColourPop. Now, when you guys think of fall, I'm sure the biggest color you guys think of is orange. Now, if you guys don't know, orange is my absolute favorite color in the world. It's been my favorite color since I was 10, 11 years old, if not younger. I painted my room orange. I love orange so much. And my favorite color, followed by yellow mustard, my second favorite color. So when I think of fall, obviously orange is the biggest key factor into fall colors, right? Orange is everywhere. So of course we had to put this palette at number 26, which would be the ColourPop Orange You Glad palette. Now this is a true orange palette. Now the reason why it's still going to be included in the ranking is not because of the theme, because the theme is far from fall, but it's the color story itself. I definitely have used this color story so many different times during my fall era. I have gone to this palette numerous times to create beautiful fall looks because it's a true definition of fall for me when it comes to just an orange vibe. It literally gives me what I need. You're going to have the different tones of oranges in here that I can create some beautifully aesthetically pleasing palettes. So I think it's beautiful. I think it definitely fits the vibe of my background. It fits the vibe of the fall season. Does the palette itself scream fall? I mean, does the concept of the palette scream fall? No, but the color story does, which I really do love. I really do appreciate. I think it's a really beautiful palette. I love to mix this with the Honey to really create a beautiful, bright, bold fall look. But since they are two separate palettes, I do have to rank them separately. So coming in at number 26, we have the Orange You Glad palette from ColourPop. Coming in at number 25, we have the Bee Poppy palette from ColourPop. Now, I love this palette, and this is supposed to represent flower. Now, this definitely has a little bit more of true fall colors in here. One, this is an all matte palette, which I really do appreciate from ColourPop, but it's the tones in here. You're going to have like the burnt orange, the like brick red brown, the little bit of like the tangerine shade oranges in here. You could definitely create really beautiful transition oranges. Now, I do not mix this. I do not usually wear this one by itself. I do mix it with one other palette to create a true beautiful fall-esque like matte vibe palette. But because this still has some fall themes, I still do put it in here. I love the fact, I don't know if poppy flowers are even present during the fall season. I don't really know, but I just love the fact that this is definitely a beautiful fall palette that I go to time and time again. It really, again, fits the vibe of my background. I love it so much. I've used this so many times during the fall season, way back in the day too, especially when I was just getting into makeup. This is a palette I gravitate to a lot. So coming in at 25, we do have the ColourPop Bee Poppy palette. Coming in at number 24, this was my favorite and probably still to this day my favorite ColourPop palette. And this is the palette that I mix with Bee Poppy Orange You Glad Honey. And that is the Little Ray of Sunshine palette from ColourPop. Now, this palette is gorgeous. This is going to be that end of summer, early fall transition palette. You're going to have the beautiful mustard yellow, the red brick brown, the dirty Dijon mustard yellow. You're gonna have a brown. You're gonna have some beautiful like sunflower yellow shades over here. This is gorgeous. I was able to create a really beautiful fall aesthetic look with this palette. I think this actually might have been my number one palette the very first time I ever did a ranking. I think this was my number one because I can utilize these shades right here to create a really beautiful fall palette. Now, for me, I would consider this my September palette. I would consider this this is like September 1st, what I use. I mix it with the Bee Poppy, and these two together, they're a stunning combination. Absolutely stunning combination. So while this may not fit the true definition when it comes to fall vibes, it definitely has fall elements to it that I'm truly obsessed with. I know that sunflowers are really present during the fall season, at least in terms of decoration, how I always see it. So for me, I absolutely love this palette. I think it's so good, and I think I can create a really beautiful mattified fall look with this. And like I said, I think this is my number one palette way back in the day. I absolutely love this. So coming in number 24, we have the Little Ray Sunshine palette from ColourPop. Coming number 23, we do have the Jaclyn Hill. This is the Armed and Gorgeous palette from Morphe. Now, this is the only palette that I saved from my Morphe palettes. I did declutter the other ones. I know. But the reason why I saved this is because this is a beautiful fall-inspired palette. Like, I can see fall with this. I see the little bit of like a burnt orange, the deep evergreen, the golden, the burnt mustards, the golden shades, the browns, a little bit of pop of like, Harvest Moon. Like, I can see a gorgeous fall aesthetic with this palette. I really have enjoyed playing this palette during the fall season. I think it's really beautiful. And even though this is not meant to be a fall palette, there's just some fall elements to the shades in here that I definitely gravitate to every single fall season because I can utilize this. I can make a really beautiful like golden smoky fall eyeshadow look with this palette right here. I love the fact that I would take like this golden shade, mix it with with a little bit of the oranges right here, a little bit of brown, put this on my under eye right here to really smoke it out. Be so beautiful, so aesthetically pleasing. So for me, while this is not meant to be a fall palette, there's definitely some fall shades in here. So that is why at number 23, we do have the Jaclyn Hill Armed and Gorgeous palette from Morphe. Coming in number 22, we do have the 420 palette from Melt Cosmetics. First off, the outside packaging, I don't really know what this is supposed to be. I don't know. I never really stopped to ask what this was. What is it? No, for real though, what is it? I don't really know what it is. It's pretty. I love that it's a lenticular motion palette. Like, I love how it moves like that. Really, really, really nice. But when you open this palette up, y'all, this looks like the bigger older sister of the Gemini palette, right? Like, you're going to have the kind of like the same elements. So from here onwards, for sure fall. Absolutely everything you need fall. You're going to have this beautiful, beautiful, like, mustard yellow, which is one of my favorite colors for yellow. You're going to have the beautiful brown to go right with it. You're going to have the golden shade that you could add to it. This is like a beautiful like sunflower right here. You can create a beautiful sunflower look. This is like the September look, and you have a little bit of like this beautiful green right here, which I definitely consider this green to be like a fall green, like an evergreen, right? Like that is what I would call that shade. But you also have some deeper greens right here, like a pine forest green, which would be a beautiful during the fall season as well. So for me, while this is meant to be like a smoke palette or like a 420 palette, I see fall. I see summer transitioned into fall. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. There's definitely some more true fall elements in this in terms of the shades compared to like the Gemini palette. I feel like this, like I said, the bigger, older, more badass sister to it. And I just absolutely love the way this palette looks. I definitely have used this so many different times during the fall season to create a really beautiful like sunflower-esque look. Oh, so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So that is why at number 22, we do have the Milk Cosmetics 420 palette. Coming in number 21, when I first saw this palette, I literally looked at Angie and I said, you just created a fall palette. She's like, no, I didn't. I said, no, but you did. You created a fall palette for me. This is the Agate Temptation palette from Singe Beauty. And when I look at this, I absolutely love how this palette looks. This has fall written all over it. So this little 6 shades right here, those are fall shades. Those are absolutely fall shades of like the little bit of like the dirty mustard yellow, the little bit of like the fire engine, like a little bit of the cool tone red, brown, that gorgeous golden shade. And then you're going to have a little bit more of the summer elements right here, right? So it's like a transition again, like between summer to fall. And I don't think she intended that. Again, I read it as such that I can use this, especially these 6 shades right here, for the fall season. Now, the names in here are not meant to be fall names. This is definitely more meant off like gemstone and stuff like that. But I look at this palette and I get so inspired. I get so inspired to create really beautiful fall-esque looks. And I even think when I did my review, I think I did a fall look. I think I unintentionally did a fall look because I told you guys that this reminded me of fall palette, and it absolutely does. I think it's a beautiful transition between summer to fall. I absolutely love this. So for me, that is why at number 21, we have the Agate Temptation from Singe Beauty. Coming number 20, we do the Cosmic Brushes. This is the Neutrals palette right here. This is such a beautiful palette. You're going to have that maroon purple that I love during the fall season. This can also be used during Halloween too, by the way. The mustard yellow, the beautiful green, golden, orange shift right here. You're going to have the browns, a little bit of this white holochrome, which is going to transition between white, gold, and orange, which is really beautiful during the fall season. You're going to have the beautiful fall elements right here, a little bit more on the neutral side, but a little bit cool tone element to it. There's something about this that when I first saw this palette and I reviewed it, I said, oh my God, this reminds me of fall. And it absolutely does. Now, is this meant to be a fall palette? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I feel like I have definitely picked this up a lot during the fall season last year, and I can definitely see myself gravitating to it a lot this year just because of the key elements that are in here, especially the shade right here where it transitions between like green and orange. It's not showing up on camera, but in person, this beautiful multichrome is absolutely stunning. Perfect, perfect, perfect for the fall season. So that is why at number 20, we do have the neutral palette from Cosmic Brushes. Coming at number 19, we do have this little mini Cinna palette from Game Beauty. Now, this is part of like a massive... Oh, I don't know. I think it's Attack on Titans collection. I'm not entirely sure. But when I saw this palette, I loved it. Now, this would be my perfect little mini travel fall palette. You're going to have the orange, the yellow, the brown, and the golden shade right here. Beautiful fall palette. Now, the reason why this isn't so high on my list is because you only get 4 shades. But for me, these 4 shades are everything. So if I'm ever traveling and I want to do a fall look, this is exactly what I would wear. This is exactly what I bring. It has the core elements of the orange, the yellow, the brown, and the golden orange shade right here, because this is a little bit more of like a duochrome. So it does have a little bit of orange yellow shift. It's very, very gorgeous. And I feel like they did a really good job with this. Did they intend this to be fall? No, they did not. But I take it as such. I take it as such when I see this. It's so beautiful, great to travel with. So for me, this is like the perfect little mini travel fall palette. So that is why at number 19, we do have the Cinna palette from Game Beauty. Coming in at number 18, we do have the BH Cosmetics. This is going to be the Orange Sorbet palette. Now, this is not meant for fall. This is supposed to be an actual like ice cream inspired palette. But for me, I see the colors and I'm like, oh, that's fall. Like, that's fall. You're going to have the oranges in here, a little bit of the reds, and a little bit of the orangey shimmers in here that I think is absolutely beautiful. I have played with this palette for years during the fall season. This definitely has dropped down from the list. Like, this used to be my top 10. Like, this was in my top 10, and it has fallen because I just look for a little bit more key elements now when it comes to fall inspired. But of course, anything and everything all orange will always be ranked in a fall palette because it is an all orange palette. And it, to me, orange is fall. true and true, let it like true and through, like orange is the main color of fall season. So that is why at number 18 we do have the Orange Sorbet palette from BH Cosmetics, which sadly I think some of the palettes I'm talking about today you guys can no longer get your hands on because they are discontinued. I'm so sorry, but hopefully I'm still talking about palettes so you guys are still able to get your hands on. Coming at number 17, we have ColourPop's first ever fall palette. They literally released this for their fall collection. It's called It's a Mood. And you open it up and look at how pretty this is. Now, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to fall elements. When I talk about blue, I talk about this style blue. Like here's a picture right here from Michael's. When I went to Michael's recently to go shopping for fall colors, I had told you guys that I love a good blue in fall. There's something about this particular blue that just screams fall for me, right? It's when it's mixed with the right fall colors, I see it. So when I saw that ColourPop did this, I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. You're gonna have the beautiful oranges in here, the maroon purples, the blues, the greens, and a little bit more of the neutral shade right here. This is everything I'm looking for in terms of a fall palette. This is a little bit more on the cool tone, so it's still not my personal favorite. I do prefer other fall palettes over this one, but it still has a lot of the key elements in here. A lot of the shade names in here are also kind of fall-esque as well. Like they've definitely made this for the fall season, more on the cool tone. So if you're definitely a cool tone girly, if you're definitely a cool tone person, this is going to be for you. But this to me is like an all-encompassing idea of what I look for in terms of fall. So that is why at number 17 we do have It's a Mood palette from ColourPop. Coming at number 16, I think this palette is making its debut into my fall ranking, but we have the Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the Volume 2 palette with Morphe. When I look at this palette, like I did last year, because I actually ended up playing with this palette after I did my fall ranking, I was like, wait a minute, I can use this for fall. Now for me, I can use this for fall, but I can also use it a little bit for Halloween too, because it has a lot of the Halloween purples in here that I look for. But for me, the reason why it's ranking, why I'm in the ranking today is because it's going to have the oranges, the yellows, a little bit of the purples, tiny bits of the reds, and the black. Like I kind of see this as like an end of September, early transition into October when I really start to look for our Halloween colors, right? I could see that with this. I have definitely used this like about 2 or 3 times last year during the fall season. Again, off camera, just me playing with it. And I truly realized that there's some key elements, there's some key colors in here that I look for in terms of the fall season. Like I look at this palette and I just think October. Like this palette kind of looks like an October palette to me. Not Halloween, but October, which is still the fall season. I really do love this palette. I think the color story is really beautiful, very different for her from her original palette. And I look at this, I think of fall, I think of October, and I just think of something that I just think of really fun, beautiful colors I want to come up with this palette. So that is why at number 16, we do have the Jaclyn Cosmetics Volume 2 palette. Coming number 15, this palette has been all over the place in terms of my ranking when it comes to a fall palette, but of course I will feature it every year because I absolutely love it. I pull it out every fall season, and that is the Be Perfect Carnival Volume 3 Love Tahiti palette with Stacey Marie. This palette is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This is what I'm embodying. This is like a perfect, like bright, bold, colorful fall palette. You're gonna have this beautiful, like this whole section from here onwards as true fall. Like this is again another October palette that I would see. Like this is perfect for October. You could also use this for Halloween too. It could technically be considered like Halloween a little bit with some of the elements, but for me it's all the shades in here that I look for towards fall. You're gonna have the oranges, the little bit of mustard yellows, the purples, and a little bit of the greens. It's just all encompassing for me. It's very bright, it's very bold, it's very colorful. This is kind of what I go for during the fall season. I pick this palette up every year for fall, and I kind of stick from this range onto this range to create a really beautiful fall aesthetic vibes with this, like really pretty sunset vibes, sunrise vibes, you know, fall harvest on the eyes. I try to make something really fun, unique just for myself, and I've really fallen in love with this palette. So it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's perfect for a fall season. Somehow mine got cracked long ago. Don't know how that happened, but I still absolutely love playing with this. So coming in number 15, we do have the Be Perfect Carnival Volume 3 palette. Coming in at number 14, I don't know what happened to this brand. This brand sadly disappeared, and it's really sad because I really love this brand. I remember the last time they ever reached out to me, they asked me, what animal do I want to see them represent? And I said it'd be really cool to see the wolves because wolves are my absolute favorite animals in the entire world. And then they never ever said anything back and they disappeared. So I don't know if this brand will ever come back, but I do love the palettes they created at the time. And one of them being is the Red Panda palette from Endangered Cosmetics. Now this is me coming in number 14. The first time I ever reviewed this palette, I distinctly said to you guys, this looks like fall. Now this is supposed to represent the red panda, and it absolutely does. It has the true red panda like shades in here, but it also has the fall shades of like the mustard yellow, the burnt orange, of the browns, a little bit of like the perfect red I'm looking for fall, blacks, and a little bit more of like the soft neutral shades that you kind of want for fall too, as like an everyday neutral if you want to kind of mix those in there. I think it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It kind of reminds me of like a little bonfire moment. Kind of reminds me of wanting to go like get some s'mores and roast over fire. It just makes me want to do a really pretty everyday fall look with this palette. I love the concept of this palette. I loved the review of this palette, and even though it's meant to be for Red Panda and it still does represent Red Panda, when I see this, I see fall. Now this has definitely dropped down the ranks as well over the years, but to me it's still a beautiful fall palette. So coming number 14, we do have the Panda palette from Endangered Cosmetics. Coming number 13, I don't know if this brand still has this palette. I hope they do. This palette was meant to be a summer palette. Okay, this palette was released during the summer, meant to be a summer palette, but I saw it and I went, oh, so it's fall. And that is the Unearthly Cosmetics High Temp palette. I don't see summer. This is supposed to be hot. This is supposed to represent like the hot, fiery, heated red fire heat of the world that we experience, especially here in Florida, because Unearthly is here in Florida, and I can see, you know, their concept of this. But when I see this, I see fall. This whole row, this top row, those are all fall colors right there. Fall colors. When I did my review on this, when I did my look on this, everything was fall related. I talked about being a fall palette. I did a fall look with this palette. And you definitely have a little bit more of the elements. Just like I said, all right here is fall. Maybe right here. This right here, not so much, but the rest does kind of have some fall colors to it. Now, the reason why it's not ranked in a little high, the reason why it's not ranked higher is because it's not meant to be a fall palette. This is meant to be a summer hot temp palette. But I still look at this and go, I'm going to create some really fun, beautiful fall looks with this palette. I absolutely do love this. Really beautiful. I hope Unearthly does bring it back. So coming number 13, we do have the high temp palette from Unearthly. Okay, so now we're getting down to the last 12 palettes. And this is where it gets a little hard for me because some of these palettes are truly fall palettes. Like they were literally named after fall, meant for fall. Some were not, but they carry every single element of fall. So this is definitely where it gets a little difficult, but coming number 12, we do have the Question Beauty. This is going to be their chapter 2, like fall/spring palette. So when I first saw this, I was like, okay, very unique take on it, because I thought for sure they were going to do fodder, you know, fire and ice, but that was just me. But I could definitely see some fall elements. So this side right here, this is all supposed to be the autumn season, and then this is supposed to be the spring season. So the reason why I'm going to be putting this a little higher than other ones is because the fact that it was meant to be fall. This is an autumn palette, and this is a spring palette, but all the shades right here you can encompass for fall, and then this shade right here definitely can be utilized for fall. Maybe not entirely sure, but I could definitely use this one for fall. So for me, the reason why I picked this is because you know, you have the shades in the back that are going to like be fall names of like Cinnamon Veil, Seedling Spell, Pistachio Lace, Apple Blossom, and Wild Berry Glint, and then you're going to have, you know, Spice Keeper as well. So there's definitely some shades in here that do encompass the fall season, I guess, as well as spring. I want to do more fall, but I still think nonetheless it definitely has some fall elements to it. This whole row I can use every single day if I wanted to for fall. Really, really inspiring. And I love the fact they did like a little twist where they went from fall to spring in this palette. So that is why at number 12 we do have the Question Beauty Chapter 2 Fall and Spring palette. Coming in at number 11, we do have the Too Faced Happily in Love palette. Now this was Too Faced's fall palette. Now first off, the smell of this palette is just so good. It smells like a caramel apple. Now the color story on the inside, not my favorite. There are some like fall colors, like maybe these two shades are fall, and that's pretty much it. But the reason why it's going to rate so high is because, one, this is definitely meant to be a fall palette. This is Happily in Love. It smells like caramel apple. But every single shade in here is literally a reference to fall in some way, shape, or form. They definitely wanted this to be a continuation of their fall collection they roll out with every year. So I knew I had to rank this higher because the fact that it was meant to be a fall palette. This is an apple palette. This is caramel apple. There's like, you know, there's fall references in here. There's fall colors that are in here. Is it truly a fall palette? No, but it definitely has a lot of key elements that I look for. So that is why at number 11, we do have the Too Faced Happily in Love palette. Coming in at number 10, we do have the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice Second Slice palette. Now, y'all, when y'all think of fall, what do you think of? Pumpkin pie, right? Pumpkin pie is everywhere. Pumpkin scented body sprays, hand soaps, drinks, food, everything is pumpkin spice. Everything is pumpkin spice everywhere, right? That is the true definition of fall, is pumpkin spice. So that is what this palette is right here. Now the smell doesn't really have smell in it at all. I don't have a smell in here anymore, but this is supposed to be their version of a fall palette. Now for me, when I see this, I definitely can see a lot of fall shades in this palette. You're gonna have a lot of those oranges in here, a little bit of the yellows in here, a little bit of the purples in here, and more of a neutral tone, but every single shade in here is a legit fall reference. So this is supposed to be more towards like a Thanksgiving palette, and I can definitely see that this being more correlated with Thanksgiving, but when you think of Thanksgiving, you think of fall. Fall is still really present during that time. So of course I had to rank this so much higher than all the other palettes I ranked so far because this is a true fall palette. This is a pumpkin palette, and anything that's truly defined for fall will rank up higher than other palettes that may have better color story, but definitely were not meant for fall. And this is definitely meant for fall. So that is why at number 10, we do have the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice Second Slice palette. Coming in at number 9, this is not meant to be a fall palette at all, but my God, this is color story. But my God, this color story screams fall. And that is the Monk palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. I mean, just like look at how gorgeous this palette is. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the orange tones that are in here, the burnt mustard yellows that are in here, the browns that are in here. Like, it is such a gorgeous fall inspired palette. This is another perfect travel palette for me because like this shade right here, this shade is absolutely like everything. This is a beautiful multi-chrome. It's hard to tell right here, but I see green, gold, yellow, orange shift in this palette. Absolutely stunning. Then you're going to have this shade right here called Flurry. And again, this is more of like a pink orange burnt moment. Again, really beautiful for fall. Then you're going to have like this beautiful like mustard yellow, sunflower yellow, a little bit of pumpkin orange, a little bit more of like a little mini tangerine, like little mini cute, like a little cutie, and they're gonna have the beautiful browns. Like this to me is a beautiful fall inspired palette. Now this is not meant for fall, this is meant for monk or whatever this concept was at this time, but this definitely has a lot of fall elements in terms of the color story. So that is why at number 9 we do have the Fantasy Cosmetica Monk palette. Coming in at number 8, coming number 8, this palette has dropped down tremendously because it's not a fall palette, but the color story is. It is the Stack 'em Up palette from P. Louise. Look at the color story. You have the beautiful mustard yellows, the oranges, and a little bit of like the little bit of the brick reds and browns. So beautiful, right? Like this is what I'm looking for in terms of a fall color story. Like especially this orange right here. Oh, it is everything. But the fact that I can literally take this and I can make a beautiful everyday looking fall inspired eyeshadow look with this is everything. I absolutely love this. This has been ranked so high in every single fall ranking I've done because this truly does embody the color story of fall. Is it a fall palette? No, it's a money palette. But for me, the color story itself screams fall. So it's why it will always be like in top 10 because it literally is everything I'm looking for. It matches my background perfectly. It's the color story of my background. It's gorgeous. I love it. So coming at number 8, we do have the Stack 'em Up palette from P. Louise. Coming in at number 7, this one has dropped from my top. This was a number 1 for like almost like 2 years, and it is the Queen Bee palette from Color Rain. This palette no longer exists, which is so sad because I love this palette so much. When I think of fall, I do think of bees. Okay, I do think of bees. I cannot help it. I have a whole bulletin board at work where I put down people's like birthdays and I put down their anniversaries, how long they've been with the company for. And for their birthdays, I did haystack with pumpkins. It looks super cute with like cornucopias everywhere. But for their birthdays, I did bees and honeycomb because again, I think of that for fall. And that is what I see right here. The color story on the outside is absolutely beautiful. But for me, look at how gorgeous this color story on the inside. You're going to have that beautiful pumpkin orange, this beautiful mustard yellow, a little bit of a brick red, a little bit of a reddish brick brown, a reddish brick red, black, and a golden shade, and a beautiful like yellow, green, golden shimmer right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was number 1 for a reason for like 2 years because it's a beautiful palette. I love this for fall. I've used this every year for fall. It is so gorgeous, but it did drop down just because there are other ones I do kind of prefer more than this one. And I will say this palette was an inspiration for my own palette. Like this was an inspiration for my own palette of what I was looking for, and I thought this was absolutely stunning. So coming in number 7, we do have the Queen Bee palette from Colored Rain. Coming number 6, this palette's a number 1 palette last year, but it did drop down. And there was a comment that I got in my video last year that definitely did stick with me. And the person was mean about how they went about it, but they weren't necessarily wrong in what they said. So coming number 6, we do have my palette, the Falling in Love palette with Allie Dawson and Over Cosmetics. Now last year, I ranked this as my number 1 palette. And someone left a comment about how I was completely biased. They wanted to watch this review because they wanted to see a true fall ranking, and by me putting my own palette there, it really kind of took away from the moment of the other palettes that I clearly was showing a lot of love to. And they were really rude in how they said it to me, but they weren't wrong in what they were saying. Because at the end of the day, as much as I love my palette, I do feel like there are other fall palettes that I kind of prefer more than my own. When it came to this collection right here, I am so beyond grateful for it, and I love this palette so much. I put a lot of heart and soul into this, but I was only given so much. I was only given so much creativity, so much room that I wish I can redo this palette, but like in a 16 pan version of this palette. Like I wish I could do like a 2.0 falling in love 16 pan palette where I can really give you guys my true definition of what I think fall palettes should look like. While I'm super proud of this and I absolutely still love this, I do feel like there's other fall palettes in my own. But the reason why it's still gonna be ranked pretty high is because I love this. And this is a fall palette. This is called Falling in Love. Every single shade in here is a fall inspired shade of the mustard yellow, the pumpkin orange, the white pumpkin shimmer topper, the little bit maroon purple right here, and the evergreen shade. Like this shade's called evergreen. Then we have hayride, bonfire, white pumpkin, sweater weather, and evergreen. Everything I'm looking for in like a fall palette. Now this is only 5 shades of it, but could I expand on that? Oh my god, I absolutely would. So for me, while I do agree with what the person said, just not how they said it, I still feel like this has a lot of key elements when it comes to fall, because this really was meant to be a fall palette. I'm still so in love with it. I'm so proud of it, and I will never take that away from myself because I think this is really beautiful. But do I think there's other better fall palettes out there? I do, and that is why I'm showing that in today's video. So coming in number 6, we do have my palette with Over Cosmetics, the Falling in Love palette. Coming in at number 5, we have a new palette making its debut in today's video, and that is the DD Signature. This is going to be the Fearless Holiday palette. Now this is their version of like a holiday fall palette. So you're going to have like fall into holiday. So this is going to be like another November palette. Now the reason why this is ranked up so high is because a lot of the shades in here are fall shade. A lot of the shades in here do represent fall. You're going to have like pumpkin patch, sprinkles, cinnamon toast. You're going to have chai latte. You're going to have forest hues, cypress hues, saddle, holiday flavor, festive, fireplace. You're going to have woody autumn. Like there's so many different unique shade names in this palette for fall, but it's also the color story itself, because I told you guys I love a good blue in a fall palette, and that right here is what you're seeing. So this is definitely meant to be like more of an encompassing fall palette where it's like fall and winter into one. So that's why it's gonna be ranked in today's video. You're probably gonna see this ranked in a winter Christmas palette as well, because the fact that this is meant to be both. This is a fearless holiday palette where it's gonna have all elements of Christmas and a winter and fall mixed into one. And so that is why this is like my November palette. It's why it's ranked up a lot higher, because you do have a lot more fall and winter elements in this palette. So that is why at number 5 we do have the DD Signature Fearless Holiday palette. Coming in number 4, if you guys have seen any of my fall rankings, you guys should not be surprised to see this, but we have the Be Perfect Carnival, the Antidote palette. Need I say more? Need I say more? Look at this color story. Literally from like here onward, everything fall related. Everything fall related. The colors in here are absolutely beautiful. These colors are what I'm going for fall. But also the fact there are some green elements in here too. If I ever want to incorporate like an evergreen or pine forest green, I can. But I mostly look at this for the huge fall element. Is this meant to be for fall? No. But did it come out for fall season? Yes. I loved everything about this palette. I love playing with this. And there's also some, fall shades in here too, like pecan, cinnamon, sugar maple, honey, sweet cheeks, fall. Like there's a lot of different fall elements in here in terms of the shade names as well. I think Stacey did a beautiful job with this palette. I love picking this up every single fall season. It is such a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I love the different tones you have in here. So it's very multi-dimensional. It's very multi-use as well. You can use this for so many different occasions, but I mostly just use this for fall. So that is why at number 4, we do have the Be Perfect Carnival, the Antidote palette. Coming in at number 3, we do have the Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Hudson Valley palette. First off, this is their first fall palette. This was meant to be fall. This is the Hudson Valley during the fall season. I've never seen it during fall, so I don't know what it looks like, but this looks absolutely gorgeous. And when you open this palette up, this is stunning. This is stunning. This is what I look for fall. This is another palette that I did take inspiration from my own. I love the shades in here. I love that you have the beautiful like pumpkin orange, burnt mustard yellow. You have this beautiful brown. You have this gorgeous maroon. You have the greens. You have the goldens. You have a little bit of the pops of greens as well. It's a very beautiful palette, very aesthetically pleasing. And I think they did a really good job with capturing the essence of what I envision a fall palette to be. You have the different tones in here, the different elements. And then you also have all the shade names that are all references to fall, like fall harvest, apple picking, Great Pumpkin Patch, Wine Harvest, Leaf Fielding, Cider House, Corn Maze, Farmer's Market, Mountain Hike, apple cider donut. Like everything you think of fall is going to be in this palette right here. Now, do I think that Nomad could definitely recreate this palette with a better version? Oh my God, absolutely. Because their new formula they have now is just top tier. And I definitely think that this could definitely get a little revamp if they ever wanted to, but this is so beautiful nonetheless. And this has been ranked up pretty much, I think, number 3 or 2 every single year since I got it. So coming number 3, we do have the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley palette. All right, guys, so coming in at number 2. Now, this palette is not meant to be a fall palette, but it is. So coming number 2, we do have the Bonfire palette from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Now, when I think of bonfire, I think of fall. I think of sitting outside with a blanket wrapped around me, maybe having a nice cold glass of beer or having some sort of like apple cider donut, looking at the stars, listening to the crickets and the fire crackling. That is what I envision fall to be, right? I love that. Even though we don't have fall winter here, I still enjoy a nice bonfire. And when I see this palette, I think of fall. So when you open this color story up, it may not look like your typical fall palette, but I still see fall. I see like August 1st. Into summer, early into fall, I see August 1st. You're going to have those beautiful big bright pumpkin oranges, the maroon colors, the pumpkin orange, a little bit more of the deeper orange. You're going to have a little bit more of a winter-esque shade right here, followed by the end of summer. So it's like summer, fall, winter with this whole palette. I love the way that this transitions. And while the shades in here are not meant to be like fall shades, because like none of the shade names are fall-esque, it just reminds me of fall. This makes me want to play with fall palette. This inspires me to create really beautiful fall palettes. Like this Pine Forest green, that's stunning. I think this is such a beautiful green for fall. This maroon purple, this maroon red, so gorgeous. These little orange shades, absolutely beautiful. Even these shades right here, these are more of a cool tone, but you can definitely still use these for fall, like a November. Like this is like August, September, October, November. Like it's like all in one. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I get so inspired by this. So that is why at number 2, we do have the Glaminatrix palette we do the Bonfire palette with Glaminatrix. Coming in at number 1, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this palette should have been number 1 last year. This should have been my number 1 palette last year, but I put my own palette there because I'm still so proud of this. But looking at it now, I truly think that this is the epitome of what I'm looking for when it comes to a fall palette, and that is the P. Louise All I See Are Signs palette. When you open this up, like this literally screams fall. Whenever I play this palette, I literally play with all these shades and I create the most beautiful fall inspired look with this. Now, the only thing that's unfortunate for me is that this palette actually does extend down and like it opens up and it shows more fall colors. I unfortunately don't have that palette. I didn't even know that palette was a thing until I saw like someone on TikTok open it up last year and I was like, it's a two-part palette. How come I only got the one? I only got the one. And when you open that part up, it's even more fall colors. It is those beautiful oranges, yellows, maroons, and browns. Everything I'm looking for in fall. This literally matches my background perfectly. This should have been my number 1 palette last year because it literally has all the shades I look for in terms of a fall palette. Now, was this meant to be for fall? No, this is like a money palette. Why? I don't know. But I still think it's really gorgeous nonetheless. And if you can really see the palette for what it truly is and how it opens up, you guys will see why I think this is the epitome of fall. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And this should have been my number 1 last year. So that is why at number 1 this year, we have the All I See Are Signs palette from P. Louise. Oh, so those are all 35 palettes that remind me of fall. Just because something's at the end does not mean it's not a beautiful palette on its own. It absolutely is. I just prefer other palettes over it, but they're still really beautiful nonetheless. Every single palette I mentioned reminds me of fall for one reason or another, and I absolutely love doing this ranking. Now, if there is a palette that I did not mention that reminds you of fall, please let me know in the comments below. If I'm able to get my hands on it, I absolutely will. But that, my most beautiful friends, is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure you guys give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, because I do post 3 to 4 videos every single week. Make sure you guys head over to my other channels, Are for Life. You guys get to see my cool, wonderful adventures, my amazing husband, Corey. And as always, the biggest thank you goes to these beautiful, wonderful Patreon members you guys see right here. Thank you guys so much for everything. And to my subscribers and viewers, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys like this video, you guys thumbs down this video, you guys subscribed, you guys did not subscribe, either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.